is if you like grass-fed beef or not. And the reason I say that is, to be very, very honest, I was booked to do this event. I was very excited. It was one of my favorite events of the year. And I got a call from Maria, and she said, "What do you think about grass-fed beef?" And the first thing I did was roll my eyes, because Americans in general are not used to grass-fed beef. You know, we all grew up on corn and grain-fed beef, and there's a huge difference in the flavor of grass-fed beef. In fact, some people say that grass-fed beef tastes what all beef tasted like 15 or 20 years ago. So I personally can't reference what beef tasted like 20 years ago, but that's what is said. And honestly, it ends up being a lot healthier for you when you talk about fat, cholesterol, things like that. But to be quite honest, when I eat a steak, I'm not really worried about the health benefits, and I don't think most people are. But that's something that's pretty interesting about it as well.
Maria, would you like to touch on the beef again?
Sure, I would love to. Thank you for the opportunity. What Chef is saying about the flavor is something that we do get a lot, and I do remember what beef was like 20 years ago, but even if you don't, just to understand the natural flavor that what beef is supposed to eat, what cows are supposed to eat, makes the beef that way. It has a high linoleic acid content, so the omega-4 fatty acids are important in cellular health. It's supposed to be a better meat for you. But really what we're saying is the flavor of the beef allows you to be a real simple cook or a real fancy cook. You don't need to have all the special utensils and items in your kitchen in order to prepare a delicious steak for your friends and family. And you can also feel better about not serving them added hormones or antibiotics, which are important in many people's ideas of a natural diet these days. So I can see and smell how delicious this is with all of Chef's preparations. You can probably still smell the cooking of our strip loin just on the natural grill, but either way it's delicious. And I can't wait for you to try the ribeye, because I can't wait to try how he's prepared it. I love it when I convince people to try it when they've had a little doubt about what grass-fed tastes like. Our animals are Aberdeen Angus and Hereford. We only use young animals, and only the heifers, which helps with the tenderness. A lot of times people think grass-fed beef is very tough. It does take a little bit longer to raise an animal on grass than it does on grain, so sometimes that's an issue. The animals are older and the meat's a little yellow. The fat in the meat is a little yellow on grass-fed. It's not that way in ours. What else can I say about it? Oh, it's delicious.
Well, I can't wait to taste it, Maria. Thank you very much. And we can do a trade for some grass-fed beef, some wine.
Absolutely. I heard this. In the marketing world, we call this radio silence or dead air. This is valuable time for me to be talking more about my beef, right? So if I build it up too much, you guys will have a letdown when you try it. You're going to love it. And I really think the way that Chef Coons has prepared it today is going to make you have an excellent experience with our ribeye. It's still going to be very tender, juicy, delicious. It has some delicious spices on it. One of the factors that he mentioned was about animal welfare, and I do want to talk about that a little bit. The animals in Uruguay have, for the packing house that we use as part of our collaborative, has been partnering with the Temple Grandin, and the way that her whole presentation is about the way animals are treated. And it does have a lot to say about how the taste of the beef is after. Animals are treated very fairly because, first of all, they're free range their whole life. That's the way they like to be. They like to eat grass on the pampas in Uruguay and just relax and be happy. During the process of the packing house, the animals are not aware of what's happening in front of them or around them, so it's also very normal and natural. I've been there and I saw that whole process and I can verify. One of the things I like to talk about is our traceability. We're able to tell from farm to fork where the animal comes from, where it was raised, because we represent a collaborative of ranchers in Uruguay. So we'll be able to tell you from farm to fork about the beef and how it was raised and where. And a lot of people find that to be of interest. natural with just salt and pepper, or like Chef presented it today, it doesn't look too complicated. Available, you should definitely use fresh spices and garlic as much as possible versus canned or dry, just for the extra flavor.
Yeah,
We've coined a new term at Terruño called carne snob. I'm becoming a little bit of a carne snob.